Welcome to Burned and Better. I'm your host, Dr. Denisa Weber, a seven-figure CEO, speaker, mother, entrepreneur, and chiropractor. Over the last 15 years, I've faced the highest highs and the lowest lows of entrepreneurship, motherhood, and leadership. I've burned more times than I can count, but every time I've found a way through and come out better. This isn't about polished highlight reels. It's about the real, unfiltered side of leading, the kind of conversations usually kept behind closed doors. Here, I share my own stories and sit down with leaders who've stumbled, recalibrated, and built something worth leading. So if you've ever felt the weight of success or wonder what it looks like to fall hard but rise stronger, you're in the right place. Let's normalize the messy middle of leadership and step into the episode. Welcome back to the next episode. We're so excited. This is my first guest is Dr. Elise Rigney.
Yay!
Yay! Today I get to sit down with not just a friend, but a powerhouse in our profession. She's the founder of Impact Chiropractic in Colorado, actually 4 thriving clinics, where she leads a team of over 10 doctors. She has been recognized as one of the top chiropractic practices in the state for more than a decade. It's pretty amazing. Elise has been honored on Colorado's 40 Under 40 list and named Influencer of the Year by Colorado Chiropractic Association. And honestly, she continues to set the standard for what's possible in chiropractic leadership. But her influence goes way beyond her clinics. She's founded Chiro Intensive, where she coaches 7-figure practices nationwide. She's spoken on stages around the world. She's an angel investor, a real estate investor, and she keeps other business owners maximizing their wealth through advanced tax strategies. And if that's not enough, she's also a wife, a mom of 3 cuties, and somehow makes space for international travel with her family. Today, though, we're going to peel back the curtain and talk about a little bit about when asking for help when your ego is on the line, what it really looks like to juggle business and motherhood, and yes, the leadership burns that shaped both of us. I'm especially excited to highlight our latest project, the Rewire Method, a system to help small businesses recession-proof their profits without burning themselves out or sacrificing their families. And I'll put the link in the show notes so you can dive deeper into that. I purchased it. I'm currently working through it, and I'm excited to talk more about that too. So let's get into it. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. I just have loved the episode so far. So I'm really excited I've gotten to be a part of your world for literally a decade, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we've ran in the same circles for so many years. So I'm excited that your voice is out there and your vulnerability too. I think that is just so special and so relatable to men and women.
Well, thank you. Well, I was going to talk about, because I was like, me and Elise, we go way back. We've known each other from a practice management company back in the day. And that's how we met each other. And we didn't really know each other at the time. But then you stepped away from that. And I was going to talk a little bit more about this. I messaged Elise the other day about, I was like, I don't know if you know this, but it took every bit of me to reach out to you. Like when we talk about, if you reference back to my first episode where the ego crash and me thinking that I was fine and then realizing I'm not fine, I need help. Yeah. You had Chiro Intensive out. And I'm just going to say, like, I don't know why I had colored perception of you before. And I don't know, that could be for many different reasons. I just knew you were a go-getter. You were killing it. And I think like there's a little bit of that like female competitive edge situation of my ego that I was like, I don't know if I want to reach out to her.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? To be honest.
Well, and you even said, like, looking into that more, you have the cheerleader background. And so it's like, it's kind of funny because I was talking to my husband last night about this and I'm like, I feel like we maybe had others in the industry who maybe put us against each other in some ways subliminally either, because I don't ever feel like we were ever against each other whatsoever or competitive with each other. But we both got put on stages in chiropractic in my opinion, pretty early in practice. Very early. I remember times, like I remember speaking in front of 1,000 chiropractors at one event and I was like, what the hell am I doing up here? Like, and I was like 30 weeks pregnant with my first baby. I'm like, I am a baby. I'm a baby. Why am I on stage? But there was this movement of like, we got to make sure women are represented on stage, which is insane to say now. And like you and I both were some of those that small group of women who were continually asked on stage. So it was like we never actually got to be solid friends, and we were never in the actual same room, quite frankly, because I feel like I left when you joined like this mastermind and all of that. It was like we were kind of just passing by, but then I always liked each other and had some drinks at the bar after speaking at events and like good stories, you know. I feel like it was always like socially, we were like, oh my gosh, what are you doing now?
Totally.
But yeah, it's just kind of funny to look back. But you had the cheerleading background, and I feel like I've always had the girl background. Like if anything, I'm not like a raging feminist or anything like that. Like I love men, love masculinity, love alpha, all of that. But it was like, I feel like I've always been more so like, well, that man is taking credit for my work and I did the work. And so I've always been more so, if there's anyone that I've felt the competition with, it's been other men. And I've been like, let's go to all of us women. And I feel like we're in a place now where we've got like you, Lauren, Steph Libs and Amy, and like a big group of us, Lona, Devin, that are out here like of women, powerful women who are sharing the stages, really cheering each other on in all of our endeavors. And it's a beautiful place to be. But, you know, when you come from a background that maybe is a little different, which I don't know if you want to share, it's, you know, it's probably what drug your feet to reaching out in the first place.
Yeah. And I feel like that's that was a whole new feeling to me, is like for other females to be cheering each other on. I was like, what is this? Like, you know, this is unfamiliar. Because usually, I mean, based on my experience, it's been kind of like someone's always trying to like snake their way, or like somehow somehow take you down, or and I mean, I've had that since I was in middle school, you know, like, and maybe it is the cheer background. Like it was nasty. Like it was a nasty experience. And even to my mother, and I can go into an episode about that, but going into this and coming into Chiro Intensive, it was like, hey, like how, you know, do this, do that, like no gatekeeping. I was like, really? Like we're not just selling something, and it's like, but really like behind the scenes, I'm really doing all this stuff that I'm not going to share with you. And that's been a new feeling with you guys, with Devin, with you, with Lona, with Steph. Like and no one's trying to pee on your stuff. Like, you know, no one's trying to like take credit for your project. And that's where I was like, even at this podcast, I mean, you were like, you know, that I'm so glad you're doing this, you know, all this stuff. Never once did you try to remind me, oh, hey, remember you reached out to me. I know that you reached out to me in episode 1. That was not like you needing to come and pee on my moment.
Right.
You know what I mean? It'd be like,
I
helped her. And I'm like, no, she didn't have to do that, but I am going to give credit to, I'm like, I did do Chiro Intensive. And I know you say like you did the work and all that.
You did the work.
I did.
100%.
And I also like gleaned a lot from what you created. So yeah, it helped me with profit margins. It helped me take the bites that I needed to take, as far as like, you know, risking more and rent, getting into a bigger space, having a bigger team, because we could have the space to actually employ more people, which was amazing. But like you were that what you created, especially because you have multiple doctors. How many doctors do you have right now? 10?
10 or 11. I mean, if you count me, 11, but yeah.
And like, I saw too, that you have not been I think you said you haven't been like full-time in practice since 2016.
Yeah. I haven't been full-time since I think 2015 maybe. And then I haven't seen patients like, I don't want to say never, because I'll adjust team and, you know, your own family and that sort of stuff. But I haven't, and I had to cover a jury duty shift a couple of years ago. But overall, like I don't have regular patient hours or anything, and I'm not opposed to coming back, but I'm in like the mom world now too, you know, like you are. Our kids are in 1,000 activities, and we've got all the mom stuff that no one talks about, that takes up your brain and your time, and arranging the schedules and the volunteering and the wear a t-shirt for this thing. And I have a birthday party in a couple hours actually right now for a 5-year-old. So it's like all that stuff is I want to be there for, you know, so I know I could get back to practice whenever, which is wonderful about what we do. But take me back to, here I am interviewing you, but take me back to like the ego death you talked about. And I mean, really what I saw, I didn't know you had a hard time reaching out to me. I didn't know any of that. It was kind of like I remember you signed up for Chiro Intensive, and Chiro Intensive is 90 days of like, you did freaking everything in 90 days. And that's when you hit 7 figures, I think too. It was like so rapid speed. You did everything and you do everything at a high level. Like, that's what I love about you. It's like down to your freaking folders you show to your patients. I'm like, we need to level up some of this stuff. Like the attention to detail, but it's your heart. It's because you care. It's not like a type A thing. It's like you genuinely care about how chiropractic is communicated and how your patients are cared for. And then it blend into how your team is cared for and your beautiful practice. But like, I feel like you 180, not that you always said you were always known for like your branding and all of that sort of stuff. But I feel like you 180'd with raising your prices, the care plans, the team structure, the build out, the new building, all of that in like 6 months or less. Like you just did it. It's like but like that moment of like, I don't know if you'd say you hit rock bottom before that but like the crash, the ego death, what was like, can you explain more into like what was happening with you personally, like that burn moment?
Yeah. And, I think, when recording some of these podcasts, you kind of black out. Because even like listening back to it, I'm like, oh, I forgot about that. And I forgot about this. And it's like, you kind of like bury the trauma, and like unearthing all of this stuff kind of brings up and you're like, I remember that. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. And of course, like I wanted the episode to kind of be a kicky in the teeth. Like, this is how bad I led, like I wanted it to be a kind of a shock. But what was the added layer to that, I'm very acutely aware of how many times I use the word situation now. Like, I can't. I am like, I know I was about to say it. Anyway, so we're gonna have to find a different word for that. Anyway, during that whole time, it was me and the nanny with the kids. And so I was 17 years a coach's wife. Like, I have championed for my husband for years. I have raised my children in the stands. I have nursed them in the stands. I've been in it, and it was a high caliber coaching position. It was a lot. It was a lot.
Can we take a side note to brag on Tristan, her husband? Because I'm not from Texas. And so anyone listening who's not from Texas, like when she's talking about coaching high school football, he coached Quinn Ewers. Am I saying his name right?
Yes.
I mean, it is like top of the line, all in coaching. They have coaches' wives gatherings. Like, it feels like the pro NFL to me. So when we're talking coaching, it's like, it's big deal. I never really got that, if I'm being honest. Was the life. That was the life. And then you had your business and kids and nanny and all that on top of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, he had 3 back-to-back state championships with Highland Park, with John Stephen Jones being and Chandler Morris being their quarterbacks. And he's at the University of Virginia now. And then Quinn at Southlake. So the last 2 years of his coaching were the last 2 years that I was in that space. And those are the 2 that he was gone before the kids were up and back after the kids were asleep. And it was me and the nanny a lot. I've gone through 9 different nannies total. Of course, like, this whole podcast has made me look at the graveyard of like the amount of people that I have employed in the past. And I was like, how many nannies have we had? Like, and then that person was a hybrid in my office at the time. And so that's why my entire support system was gone. And so, like when I say that I was unwilling and I refused to do the work necessary, that my team kept bringing stuff like, we need to do this, we need to do that, we need to do this. The grace I will give myself in that is that they were saying, we need to do these things. I was aware that I needed to. However, in order to champion that effort, I would have to go head down and sacrifice the other half of my hubby is not there. Like he is there. Like he's a very involved parent. Tristan's an amazing dad.
100%.
He's just, like we rally for each other. He's supported me when he could. Mm-hmm. And that's just how it was. But I tried to do my best, like, but I had to look at the whole thing and go, I'm unwilling to put my head down in this season and sacrifice what I have with my kids, because I'm already feel like I'm stretched thin and I'm not attending everything. I was still a primary adjuster in my practice, and even with an associate. And so I didn't feel like it was the right time. Like I didn't feel like it was the right time to do it. And I mean, was I not leading well? Yes. And the grace in it is that I wasn't choosing to do that. I didn't choose to go head down that time. So what ended up
and you're not a half-asser at anything. So it's like, even if you would have said yes to some of that stuff, it's like you wouldn't be, you go all in when you say yes to something. So it would have been doing a disservice. To someone or something. Yep.
Yeah. I was like, if I see all the things that need to happen, it's going to be hard for me to have that in the back of my mind going, I mean, I'm like, we have to fix this. We have to fix it.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to see it because I knew my personality. I literally would see it and go, oh my gosh, like we have to rectify this. This is so bad.
Were you wearing rose-colored glasses then? And you're just kind of like, everything's good and whatever, just kind of the delusion? Or were you like, I know that this is a mess, but if I even start digging into it, it's going to be a rabbit hole, like a lot that I need to fix. And I don't have the time and energy right now. Or were you kind of in the delusion? Because I feel like a lot of chiros, and again, you and I were placed on pedestals before. In my mind, I was successful by my thoughts of it, or successful as a leader or whatever it was, quote unquote success. All of a sudden you're representing that. So it's easy to almost get the ego, the rose-colored glasses, but you're like, but please no one look behind the curtain of my business or my leadership or, things that I need to follow through and close the loop on and all of that.
It was both. I think it was equal parts both. I think, and also why, I don't know, we didn't hire more people at the time. It's like, I didn't want another person in there to be like, oh no, this is what's going on inside here. And I'm like, yeah, no, I need to, there's so much that needs to be done. I'm still doing care plans and keeping up with people's care and progress exams and literally just keeping people to where they're seeing results in their lives, which is enough to hold up itself.
Right.
And then I'll be like, okay, tag, I got to go. I got to get out. I got to get in the car. I got to get to carpool. I got to whatever. And then also it's the ego too. It was coaching in different places, and people were coming to me for solutions for what's going on in their practice. And so I was like, well, shoot, I guess I know stuff. I know things, and it's helping other people. So, I mean, there was both. Yeah. And, and then it broke, and then it required Tristan ended up actually stepping out of coaching the month after. And from there, could I have done chiro intensive? Honestly, could I have done chiro intensive in the fall ever before that? No. Not, I'd be like, can you not do that in the spring for me?
Yeah.
I would be so painful because I'd be like, there's so much that I want to do. And it's football.
The stacked season,
it's
right?
A stacked season. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so that's why I say yes there, but then there's a whole additional layer to what was going on at the time. And and none of my team had kids. So, it's not,
it's not relatable. And it's one of those things we're not speaking about all of this. We're speaking about reality of we have responsibilities as moms, as wives, as you married a partner who is/was extremely passionate about his career. You're extremely passionate about your career. When you have two powerhouses in a marriage, it isn't you're fully sacrificing in all these, it's in all these moments, it's the give and take, and how are we going to make this so we can both be giving our all to our family and to our careers, and no one is having to give up something until they want to. It's like building that empire together of like, okay, I want to have a chiller season. I want to leave coaching right now. And whatever it is, it's like having the choices and the options because you've built that life together. But the reality is we have responsibilities as parents that we're not here to complain about because we love our kids and we would choose those responsibilities every single day. Absolutely. But it is a freaking ton of emails and communication and driving and paying for help. Like there's oftentimes I'm like, man, it'd be amazing to have family who could help with drop off or pick up and volunteering and all of that sort of stuff. We don't have that. And it's not to crap on family members or anything like that. Yeah. We just don't. And so you had to hire help and you had to trust other people and figure out, the chess moves of life for you at that time too. But you're not going to come to clinic and complain to your team. But they did not have the full picture of everything going on in your life as well, because there's just a lack of awareness around that, or understanding.
Yeah. Unfortunately, some of it they did know.
Okay. Do you want to talk more about that, or are we going to keep that in the closet for now?
No, I don't like it again. No? Like burned is about where I burned it. You know what I mean? And then that pivots to talking smack about other people. But there was full context. There were people that were with me for 6 years. Like people knew. Yeah. And the timing was epic. It was epic. It was right before my kids' spring break and the time that I would be spending with them. And it was during their birthdays and both of my kids' birthdays. It was like, it's like it got cheated out of that. It got cheated out of the spring break. I was on Indeed doing interviews during their entire spring break. And all of it was needed and necessary because I had to have people to be hired, but people who know me know things, things. And, at the same time, I mean, I don't think that team honestly could have gone into the next iteration of what we were doing anyway. They were too used to who I was at that time. Right. And what I knew that I was going to be able to move into, should I get into the weeds of everything again, was not going to be comfortable for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of like the evolution of most practices. Have you seen that too? Because I know you got CA staff, like you've got multiple CA staff.
Yeah.
I mean, have you noticed that with different, when you shifted as a person, that you shedded people as well?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I've gone from like the pendulum swing, as you say, of people pleasing hardcore to like maybe right away. Actually, I would say when I brought in like my first doctor, praise God, she's still with me. She owns one of the practices now. I know, but I'm like, also she grew up in the Midwest, like me, where like work ethic is just totally different. So I'm like, oh, I'm thankful she dealt with me having the attitude of like, well, do you know what I did to build this practice? Like I had to go out and do X, Y, Z. And so I had more of like that mentality of like, and every detail really mattered, not necessarily micromanaging, but more just like heavy energy on like that person didn't sign up. Well, now we sold them to they were sold to medicine. Like that was my mindset. It was so hardcore. Also goes back to how we were raised in different models in chiropractic, but it was like very, very hardcore. And then it was like, then I got outside of our industry and went to leadership conferences, got into masterminds, got into like people who were in like corporate. Even like Sunira Madani, she grew her public company Stacks to $1 billion company. And she was one of my mentors for a year. And so I was around outside of our industry, kind of outside of the mom and pop to see like, oh, there's like, we have to have benefits. We have to set up, like we have to have more grace in a lot of ways too. But then I feel like I got soft. I got soft and I got to people pleasing. And then I started having babies and there were points where you're on maternity leave and it's like, I'd get the mindset of like, I deserve this. Like I planned, I hired, I trained, like I deserve to not have anything to do with my practice. Like normal people, quote unquote, get a 3-month maternity leave. Well, I want to get that, it's like, I kind of got into like the protection mode, but then by the time I'd come back, because I had passed the torch and to people who had no problem taking over and making it theirs, we'll say, I felt like my people pleasing was taken advantage of completely. And then I get back to this practice that I'm like, this isn't mine. And quite frankly, it was the culture that was affected the most, where team members who were incredible doctors, incredible people I'd worked with for years were like, I don't like coming to work. And I'm like, neither do I. Like, neither do I. But I put this one person in charge who's just, like leaking negativity into this place. And that's not what we're about, And so I think I had the iterations of me and my identity through like motherhood and through my own, like I just hit so many walls. And you can just look at pictures and you watched me, like you physically saw me.
You changed.
You can see these pictures on stage where it's like, I'm freaking inflamed. I'm smiling through the chunkiest face with like, not blood. I don't think I ever had bloodshot eyes, but like, you're just like adrenal fatigue to the freaking max.
Yeah.
And and also like you're nursing, you're pumping, you're trying to keep your milk up, but then you're still trying to serve, and not even just serve patients, but like serve our profession, traveling so much. Sloan did over 50 flights by the time she was 2. And so she was just flying. Yeah, she was flying with me to all of the events, to everything, which was amazing. Like grateful we got to do that. And that was like part of our family's vision, is that we travel together and all of that. But holy moly, it's like I think I would just do the pendulum swing over and over of like, give, love, serve, to then like, no, protect yourself. Like you're getting taken advantage of. So like, I was just trying to find that middle ground of like, pouring into your own people, your own team, but then also you're doing that because you expect them to be good people too, and not backstab you and take advantage of you and all of that. It's like doing life together is what I've always wanted to do. And then I've just learned lessons with some people of like, I honestly think Culture Index helps me so much now, where I can be like, if I hire this person, they are going to steamroll me. Like they actually hate human beings. So this test shows me that. So at least I know now, because people can fake everything. Like the amount people can fake when you're interviewing in the process. I'm like, I feel so bad for people dating, because I'm like, I feel this way hiring in an interview. I'm like, you're looking for your life partner and you've got people who are just love bombing you, and no.
That's where we're going to pause for today's conversation with Dr. Elise Rigney. In part 2, Elise opens up about the damage people-pleasing can do and what it was like to be the primary financial provider in her family. She also shares how her weight became one of her biggest leadership challenges, the way stress kept her body inflamed, and how losing that weight shifted not just her health, but even how she was treated professionally. Then we shift into some powerful business talk, from recession-proofing your business, hiring VAs, to how she's leveraging AI in her work right now. It's practical and one you will not want to miss. So make sure you're subscribed to Burned and Better and join us next week for part 2 of my conversation with Dr. Elise Rigney. Thanks for tuning in to Burned and Better. Follow the show so you never miss an episode. And if you're feeling generous, tap 5 stars or write us a quick review. That's how this work is going to grow. I'd love to hear what stood out for you in this conversation. Share this episode, tag me at Southern_Chiro on Instagram, and pass it on to someone who needs it today.